Hey there, welcome to this video. And if you're watching this, I imagine you are exploring your relationships. Either you're in a relationship and perhaps struggling with a familiar pattern showing up again, or perhaps a new conflict or new type of challenge that you're not really sure how to navigate, or perhaps you're not in a relationship and just really wanting to understand how to attract a different kind of relationship than you have up until this point. I'm really glad you're here. And this is an important topic because we have been taught from a very young age to search for our partner, to search for our true love. And, you know, it's in Hollywood, there's a huge romanticization of it. Not that I'm actually very romantic and really desire love and lifelong partnership and aligning myself to that. And at the same time, the way it's presented to us and conditioned within us is one of sacrifice and over compromise, and really giving up your own passions and in order to find love, or giving or thinking that relationships or love are going to be the source of happiness. And that then results in a search that is based in not feeling full, not feeling complete, not feeling joyful or loved or lovable until receiving the external feedback of being in a relationship. And that a search from that place is going to keep attracting relationships with a very similar pattern. And it's going to be different for everyone. And this is a really hard lesson I had to learn. And, you know, I had to face it myself. I know I'm a great guy. I know I'm very generous. I know I'm very loving. I know I offer a lot in a lot of different areas. And yet I always felt I was in a pattern of partners falling in love with me very quickly. And then as soon as my energy became too much, either where I was focusing too much on my mission, too much on my mission or in my expression, or where my wounding and traumas came up in ways that were a little bit overwhelming and intense, I would feel that this person didn't really love me, that they would just love me only until I became too much. So they liked the happy parts, but not the whole package. So what I had to really face a few years back, probably 5, 6 years back now, was that, as they say, I was the common denominator. And I had to realize that I wasn't a victim to love, a victim to relationships, a victim to life, that there was something these relationships were reflecting back to me. They were reflecting back to me the parts of me I didn't love, the parts of me that I judged. And I was inadvertently, unknowingly, unconsciously requiring them to love those parts for me, which is a responsibility that's too big to ask of any one person. And that's what would then eventually lead to them feeling a little bit overwhelmed. So what I realized was that I needed to slow down the search. I needed to stop looking for that partner that was going to give me the love I wanted and show me the love I wanted. And I needed to find that within myself. I needed to align to the kind of partnership I wanted, and needed to look at where I was expecting the other to do the things I needed to do for myself. And this led to a very interesting journey where I was really allowed myself to feel, to cry, to scream, to release what these relationships were showing me, the pain that they were bringing up in me. I let it heal. I let it release. I finally, all of this crying and sadness and anger that I'd been holding in for so long from challenges in my childhood and teenage years, I finally let free, and it lightened the burden off of me. And I started to align to how I wanted to move through the world, with or without a relationship. And then I've witnessed over the years, each relationship I attract into my life is more and more and more and more aligned. And yet still, the challenges of the relationships are pointing to the parts of me that I still maybe haven't loved all that much, or parts of me that still need to feel, still need to be seen. So the key here is you can do this in a relationship. You don't have to be alone to do this. You can create the space. You can stop the search, even in a relationship, to stop searching for how the person in front of you can change or be more accepting or loving of you, and to start doing that work within you, to create space, to find stillness, to allow yourself the space to return to your center, to Be for yourself what perhaps you thought you needed someone else to be for you. Only you know if you can do that in any particular relationship at any particular time, or if you need to be single. So this really doesn't have anything to do with the other person. The other person could be the most amazing individual in the world, and they could be showing up with the most love. And perhaps, and you could be showing up with the most love, and there could still be a lot of challenges. And those challenges are calling each person to align more deeply to their truth. So in aligning to the truth, it doesn't really have to do with, is this relationship worth fixing? These kind of questions. Or if I really love this person, I'm going to sacrifice or compromise. And compromise is necessary in relationships. I know that. But it's, what foundation do you want to build, and where is your line of what you're willing to compromise, and really getting clear and centered in yourself of what you desire and where you want to be met in partnership. So you can deeply, deeply love someone, and perhaps your values and where you want to meet in life, your needs don't match, and that's okay. It doesn't mean anything bad about either person. So this is really about really aligning to your truth. And if you need to do that alone, that's okay. If you can do it in a relationship, that's okay too. For me, there's been a time for both. There's been a time when I can do the work in relationships. There's been a time when the work is to center myself outside of relationship and to use that time to align my inner world to the true relationship I desire. So that's my invitation to you. My invitation to you is to really notice where you're searching for the right one, and get curious as to what are the reasons. And if you're uncomfortable in stillness, if you're uncomfortable in aloneness, if you're uncomfortable, with certain parts of yourself that you don't love or that you're judging, to take the time to really explore that. If you're in a relationship and having conflict and challenge, to, instead of trying to fix the other person or fix yourself, to get really curious about what part of you is trying to be more loved by you. What part of you is trying to be more seen? What kind of emotions are trying to release out of your body? Be curious. And then let the relationship align as it will. Perhaps the relationship will work now. Perhaps it will work later. Perhaps it wasn't meant to be a relationship in the context it was in. And maybe it'll take a different form. So really just focusing on your self-worth, your self-love, letting relationships be a tool, letting the challenges and conflicts in your relationships. We're mainly talking about intimate relationships here, but this also applies to business collaborations, partnerships, relationships with clients and bosses and coworkers and friends, is to really let any conflict and challenge be a tool for deeper alignment to your truth and to joy. Because a lot of times we're looking for relationships to provide joy, but there's a part of us that isn't feeling joy, that isn't feeling joy with ourselves or love with ourselves. When you start to align to the love of yourself and the love of life and the joy within, then that is going to be reflected to you by your relationships. So it's backwards than what we've been trained. We've been trained to think, okay, this relationship is going to fill some gap, and I'll be happier when I find that right person. But in reality, if you fill the gap yourself, if you remember how to be with yourself and be in love, in the practice of loving more consistently and in joy, then that, instead of the insecurities or the lack of self-worth or the judgments or the self-judgments or self-this or self-that, that perhaps you're using busyness in relationships to avoid, instead of that being reflected in your relationships, joy and love will be reflected in your relationships. That is in exact alignment with your mission, your service, your purpose in the world. So yes, there will be compromises, but the foundation will be so aligned that it won't feel like a big compromise, where each person then does elevate the other person's mission naturally and with ease. So that's what you deserve. And I hope this video helped you shift your perspective a little bit to giving the time to align. And I want to offer you a tool to help you align. And it's in the description below, orionoheb.com/HD guide. It'll also show up right here. And this is a free, personalized 19-page report to help you understand how to align to your truth. Because the hardest thing for me over the years has been, how do I know when I need to do this alone and when I can do it in a partnership? Because there's times when I really love someone, but also feel in my gut, in my body, like I actually need to be alone right now. And to actually have the courage to let go of someone incredible has been one of the hardest things for me. Because before that, I was just sabotaging relationships left and right in really unfair ways. I'm still learning, still a work in progress, but I definitely am learning how to trust myself in relationships, even if it's a little bit messy sometimes. And the way I'm learning to do that, to get out of my head, to stop thinking so much of like, is now the right time? Like, have I given this enough effort? Do I need to try harder? Am I giving up? Am I running? Or is this the right time to leave? Like, you can make a case with your mind for either one. That, oh yeah, I'm definitely running. I need to stay in this and keep working at it. Or no, this is actually just not the right situation for me right now, and I need to leave. The mind can make either one of those right if you think about it enough. And that's why the mind is not your decision-making tool. So this report is about reconnecting you to your inner truth, the truth of your body, and how to listen to it and how to use it to make decisions like this, so that you can feel like you're honoring yourself no matter the choice you make. And you can't make the wrong choice. As long as if you keep shifting your focus to aligning your inner world to the kind of relationship you want, to feeling the kind of things you want to feel, then that kind of relationship is going to start appearing in your life. It has to. And I've seen it in my life time and time and time again. So again, I hope you take the time to generate that report. The Human Design System is an amazing tool. It's not about putting you in a box. It's about helping you reconnect to your inner wisdom. So it's been really fun shooting this video. Please leave questions or comments or thoughts or things you don't agree with in the comments below. I'd love to talk, discuss, answer questions, even have a conversation perhaps one day. So hope to connect with you and hope you're having a beautiful day.